Hello everyone, welcome back to another session of Lesson 2, Socialism in Europe and the Russian Revolution. Today we will study about the Russian Revolution. In one of the least industrialized of European states, socialists took over the government in Russia through the October Revolution of 1917. The fall of monarchy in February 1917 and the event of October are normally called the Russian Revolution. To know how did this came about, what were the social and political conditions in Russia when the revolution occurred, we must look at Russia a few years before the revolution.
Now let's look at the Russian Empire in 1914. In 1914, Tsar Nicholas II ruled Russia and its empire. Beside the territory around Moscow, the Russian Empire included current-day Finland, Latvia, Lithuania, Estonia, part of Poland, Ukraine, and Belarus. It stretched to the Pacific and comprised today's Central Asia states as well as Georgia, Armenia, and Azerbaijan. The majority religion was Russian Orthodox Christianity, which had grown out of the Greek Orthodox Church. But the empire also included Catholics, Protestants, Muslim, and Buddhist. Now we will study the economy and society of Russia. At the beginning of the 20th century, the vast majority of Russia's people were agriculturists. About 85% of Russian Empire population earned their living from agriculture. This proportion was higher than in most European countries. For instance, in France and Germany, the proportion was between 40% and 50%. In the empire, cultivators produced for the market as well as for their own needs, and Russia was a major exporter of grains. Industry was found in pockets. Prominent industrial areas were St. Petersburg and Moscow. Craftsmen undertook much of the production, but large factories existed alongside craft workshops. Many factories were set up in the 1890s when Russia's railway network was extended and foreign investment in industry increased. Coal production doubled and iron and steel output quadrupled. By the 90s, in some areas, factory workers and craftsmen were almost equal in number. Most industry was the private property of industrialists. Government supervised large factories to ensure minimum wage and limited hours of work. But factory inspector could not prevent rules being broken. In craft units and small workshop, the working day was sometimes 15 hours, compared with 10 or 12 hours in factories. Accommodation varied from rooms to dormitories. Workers were a divided social group. Some had strong links with the villages from which they came. Others had settled in cities permanently. Workers were divided by skill. A metal worker of St. Petersburg recalled metal workers considered themselves aristocrats among other workers. Their occupation demanded more training and skills. Women made up 31% of the factory labor forced by 1914, but they were paid less than men, between half and three-quarters of the men's wage. Division among workers showed themselves in dress and manners too. Some workers formed associations to help members in times of unemployment or financial hardship, but such associations were few. Despite divisions, workers did unite to stop work when they disagreed with employers about dismissal or work conditions. These strikes took place frequently in the textile industry during 1896 to 1897 and in the metal industry during 1902. In the countryside, peasants cultivated most of the land, but the nobility, the crown, and the Orthodox Church owned large properties. Like workers, peasants too were divided. They were also deeply religious, but except in a few cases, they had no respect for the nobility. Nobles got their power and position through their services to the Tsar, not through local popularity. This was unlike France, where during the French Revolution in Brittany, peasants respected nobles and fought for them. In Russia, peasants wanted the land of the nobles to be given to them. Frequently, they refused to pay rent and even murdered landlords. In 1902, this occurred on a large scale in South Russia, and in 1905, such incidents took place all over Russia. Russian peasants were different from other European peasants in another way. They pooled their lands together periodically and their commune divided it according to the needs of the individual family. Students, I hope you all have understood this much. We will continue this lesson in my next video. Thanks for watching.